Hello, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, I'm David Samuelson, CEO of ISACA. What a year this has been. I've now been with ISACA for more than a year and a half, but given the events of this year, I have not had the opportunity to meet as many of you as I'd hoped to by now. One of the best parts about ISACA is our global network of passionate, dedicated members, and I am eager to get to know more and more of you. While COVID-19 has made that more difficult, I'm pleased that the positive potential of technology has never been so clear or so inspiring. So much of what we've done in person in the past can now be done online, and in a way, I'm able to connect to even more people than I could before, when I had to physically travel to events. I am grateful that the pandemic could not take away our opportunities to connect and learn from one another in meaningful ways at chapter events like this one, at our global conferences and virtual summits, and in our online communities. The world's pivot to virtual and online connection has made it easier than ever before for our 145,000 members to be truly one global community. Last year, ISACA celebrated 50th anniversary. This year, it's the first year of our next 50 years, and we have some exciting updates and upcoming news in store. For the first time ever, ISACA offers remote proctoring for our CISA, CISM, C-Guide, and C-Risk certifications. We launched this feature just a month after COVID-19 became a pandemic to ensure that no one's learning journey or career advancement would be impacted. ISACA is now offering guidance, learning, and credentials on privacy, in addition to audit, information security, governance, and risk. As part of our new privacy program, we launched the Certified Data Privacy Solutions Engineer Credential, or CDPSE, this year. Demand for this certification has exceeded all of our expectations, and it's clear that additional privacy guidance and resources is important to many of our members. ISACA's new foundation, One in Tech, recently had its public launch with a new website and a podcast program. The foundation focuses on diversity and equity in tech and strives to build a healthy digital world that is safe, secure, and accessible for all. ISACA also published new guidance and information to help you advance your knowledge and help your enterprises. The second edition of Risk IT was recently launched, and the first COVID Focus Area Guide was released covering information security. ISACA also established a COVID-19 Resource Center that continues to be updated with new resources on topics from remote work to navigating risk and ensuring effective governance in a pandemic. I'm also happy to share that we received 2 industry awards this year for our Community Day and 50th Anniversary program. Both were recognized for their ability to connect members in new and meaningful ways. On top of all those things, we launched our new branding and our new website earlier this year, setting the stage for ISACA's future as a modern learning organization with a focus on deeper engagement and digital innovation. None of these accomplishments would be possible without the efforts of ISACA professionals across the globe, including dedicated chapters like yours. Please join me in thanking your chapter leaders for today's event and for the many opportunities they provide you and your local professional community. I hope to see you in the near future and shake your hand when that becomes a possibility. But in the meantime, let's continue to connect how we can, and let's dream about bright future of ISACA and our future communities. Together, ISACA professionals accomplish incredible things, and I can't wait to see what the next decades bring. Thanks for being an important part of ISACA and for being here today, and enjoy your event.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's lovely to see so many people tuning in today. I would like to welcome everyone to the first ISACA South Africa Professional Forum. I hope you are all well and safe during these trying times. This is the first forum hosted by the Joburg Regional Team in 2021. I hope you were able to hear some of the messages delivered by our ISACA president, our ISACA international president. And I would like you to please sit back, relax, and soak in what we have in store for you today. I think two very important things that I picked up is that, even with these trying times, ISACA has continued to deliver value to its members. And I ask all of you to please make sure that you do check on the ISACA website to see what's there and to take advantage of all the benefits that you get from being a member. I would also just like to welcome our volunteer team, which forms our the Joburg Regional Committee. Let me start first by introducing myself for those who don't know me. My name is Kgabo Ralebepa. I am the chairperson of the Joburg Regional Committee as a member of the ISACA South Africa Chapter Board, and I will be the program director this afternoon. I also would like to just do a brief introduction of our team, our committee for the for the Joburg region. I'll start by introducing Brian Makume, who is the manager at Ngubane. Brian, if you can please just show your face.
Hi, Kgabo.
Hi, thank you. Just one important thing is, we thought that we would have a little bit of celebration of the Valentine, being it Valentine's Day on whenever it is. So as you can see, Brian came all prepared in his lovely red hat. Thank you, Brian. Brian is the manager at Ngubane, and he's volunteered to help us with running the Joburg Regional Committee. Thank you very much, Brian. The next person is Prudence Keele. Prudence, please show your face. Thank you, Prudence. Hi, Prudence. Prudence is the IT auditor at Discovery. She's also a member of the Joburg Regional Committee. Thank you very much, Prudence. We also have Trymore Hove. I don't know if Trymore is on. I know he had a very busy schedule at work today. He is there. Brian, please show your face. Thank you very much, Trymore. Trymore is a security engineer at Checkpoint Software Technologies and is also one of the members of the regional committee. Thank you very much, Brian. I really want to thank Prudence, Brian, and Trymore for the time that they give to ISACA as a chapter to help me in running this committee. Thank you very much. I think let me just go through some house rules. Please stay on mute. I know we do put everyone on mute, but I would like to please make sure that we stay on mute so that we don't disrupt our speakers, and also make sure that your cameras are off. We are going, as the speaker goes on, please, feel free to put your questions in the chat box, and we'll attend to them at the appropriate time. So just write your questions there, and we will attend to them at the end of the chat of the presentation. We are also going to be running a competition, so please keep an eye on the chat box. There will be a question asked there. It's a fun question, and I think as the regional committee, we have decided that in these COVID times, it's very gloomy. So we like to bring some fun into our forums. Yes, we do need to collect our CPE points, but at the same time, I think life is too tough right now. We need to have fun while we are doing it. So we're gonna bring some fun into it. So please keep your eye on the chat box. There is a lovely Valentine's hamper. That's going to be one. So give it your all. Keep it clean, please. Keep your answers clean. The winner will be announced at the end of the webinar. So, but you have to be present. So if you are not here, unfortunately, we will give the hamper to the next person. So please stay on until the end. I promise it's going to be lots of fun. So without much ado, we are going to be going on with our presentation. welcome once again, and thank you very much for joining us. So I think first of all, let me start by thanking our guest speaker, who will be introduced by Prudence shortly, and also the regional committee for the planning and hosting of this event. There is a lot that goes on behind the scene to make sure that we deliver a seamless program. So thank you very much to everyone and to our guest speaker who will be properly introduced. I'm just going to go through a couple of announcements before we start. We are back in office. We do have a new office number, so please take note that there is a new office number. We have had to move our offices. And if you have any questions, please send an email to info@isaca.org.za. I am aware that there is a bit of a backlog with the ISACA International Chapter in addressing some of the queries, so please do feel free to call the office and how they can help you. Some important announcement from the ISACA chapter. We have a new office manager. Esther left us at the end of 2020. So Lizanne Human is now our new office manager. And please welcome Lizanne to the team. ISACA International has decided to extend the deadline for the membership and certification renewals. So we have until the end of February to still renew your membership and certifications. And please don't forget to register your CPE points. You have seen in the media and in your emails, there is a workshop coming where we'll be talking about Papaya or Poppy Act or whatever you want to call it. Mr. Peter Hill would be presenting that, and we are running a Valentine's Day special, so please take advantage of that and attend on the 1st and 2nd of March and 8th and 9th of March. Due to COVID, we will unfortunately not be able to be running a physical conference, but we are still going to continue with our virtual conference, so please do sign up 7th and 8th of June. We also are calling on corporate sponsors to please support us. So please do come forward and sponsor. You can contact the office and they will give you the necessary documents to complete. We also encourage you, please take advantage. We do have professional designations which are free at the moment, so please take advantage of that. You can complete the form and send it to the SACA team, which is saqa@isaca.org.za. We currently have the information systems audit professional as well as the information security management professional designations. So please do register. Some more announcement. I'm not going to read everything, but please, the first journal for the year is out, so check it out. You can go log on to ISACA or check your emails if you've registered on email. If you need a little bit of motivation, please do check out Mehmet's video on members' resilience and adaptability. I think there are some of us who've just been trying to find our feet with what COVID has brought upon us. So please do that. You can get some courage there. And there is a new white paper also. Check it out on the top technology risks, so that you can take that into account as you do your audit plans and you do your audits. And one of the very topical issues right now is blockchain technology and how that technology is being used worldwide. It's not only used for cryptocurrency, but there's a whole lot of cases where blockchain technology is being used. So we do have a blockchain framework and guidance, and I know most companies are now using this technology. So as ISACA, and we always trying to bring you the best at the right time, we've provided you with that. So please check it out. So I don't know if you know, but ISACA is a champion, in cybersecurity professional, and we have, we are a founding member of the Cybersecurity Council. So this is just to indicate how progressive we are, to make sure that our members get the best at the right time. We want to make sure that you get the information when it's still fresh and when it's topical. So please do check that. Okay, I think that's it in terms of our announcement. Don't forget to check the chat box. Please check it out and start writing your stories. I would love to hear about that. We are now going to call on Prudence to please introduce our speaker, and I would like you to please enjoy the rest of the afternoon. Prudence?
Thank you, Kgabo. Our guest speaker has quite a long CV, but I will try to summarize. So our speaker for today is experienced in IT audit, risk assurance, advisory, and governance practitioner who is currently working at EY in the technology risk department. He started out as an intern in the internal audit department and developed an interest in information systems audit, and he realigned his career to the information systems audit space. He has worked with numerous companies locally and internationally, where he provided his expertise to clients across multiple industries by assisting to identify gaps and improve their ICT landscape. His work portfolio includes providing services ranging from compliance audits, IT and governance reviews, risk-based audits, internal and external audit engagements, system development, life cycle reviews, and development and improvement of ITC policies. He holds a BCom accounting degree from University of Johannesburg and is a certified information systems auditor. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Karabo Hutamo. Over to you, Karabo. Thank you.
Thanks, Prudence, for that warm welcome. Really appreciate it, and welcome to everybody who has made the time to listen to me presenting on this very interesting topic. Just to give you background, when I got the call from the ISACA SA team that I'll be one of their presenters, I was in a dilemma, as I did not know which which topic to present on. So I wanted to present on a topic that's really something that's relevant, something that's really affecting all of us in this virtual room. And the topic that I chose was, as a result, social engineering. And I wanted to cover the current affairs that everybody's currently going through. Since we are all in the midst of a pandemic, I felt it was fitting for us to have the conversation around social engineering. So as you can imagine, that we're finding ourselves in very interesting times of our lives, and our lives have significantly changed as professionals, as we do find ourselves spending more and more time interacting with our laptops. And for most of us, our offices are now in our homes. I mean, we're having virtual boardrooms, even our kids are attending virtual schools, and we are doing our banking as well as shopping from the comfort of our home. So with that context, I believe it's very fitting for us to have this conversation about this particular topic. So what my presentation will cover would be, firstly, what is social engineering? Secondly, the different types of social engineering attacks, as well as the countermeasures that can be implemented to combat social engineering. So I would like to start off by laying the foundation of this topic by defining social engineering. So social engineering is the use of deception to manipulate individuals into divulging confidential or personal information that may be used for fraudulent purposes. So this is just a simple and straightforward definition, and I've included a more elaborate definition so that we can gain a better understanding of the topic. And in the second,
Sorry, Karabo, sorry to interrupt. Your screen has just gone gray. Okay, now there we go. Sorry, it has just gone gray there for some time.
all right, okay. Thanks for that,
Continue.
Kgabo. So just looking at the second definition, so social engineering is the art of manipulating people so that they can give up confidential
Sorry,
information.
Brian. Karabo?
Yes?
Yeah, it's gone back to that gray screen again. I'm not sure why that is happening, but
All right, let me maybe try and reshare my screen. Just a second. Is it visible now, Kgabo?
Yes, it is. There's just this gray screen that keeps on covering it. I don't know where it comes from.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, is it now visible? So let's just continue in the interest of time. I'll
Yes.
just run you through.
You can put it in presentation mode, it's fine.
Is it showing now?
Okay. Yeah.
All right, cool stuff. Thanks for that, Kgabo. So just looking at the second definition, so this is mainly the art of manipulating people so that they can give up confidential information. The type of information these criminals seek can vary, but when individuals are targeted, the criminals are usually trying to trick you into giving them information such as your password, your banking information, or access to your computer to secretly install malicious software that will give them access to your passwords or banking information, as well as giving them control over your computer. So moving on to the next slide, since we know that most of the social attacks are happening online. So I think the next slide is fitting to just describe cybercrime and how it relates to social engineering. As you will see now in the slide, cybersecurity is applied to protect against cyber crimes, which are committed by cyber criminals. We have different cyber criminals committing different cyber crimes which require different cybersecurity efforts. And the word cyber in this context implies that you are connected to the internet. So moving on to the next slide, which mainly deals with the life cycle of social engineering. And this is a theme that we must keep in mind as we progress with the presentation. So the social engineering life cycle is divided into 4 different phases, and I'll take you through each of the phases, starting with the investigate phase. So in this phase, this is also referred to as the information gathering phase. And this is the initial steps or the first steps of the social engineering life cycle. So it requires much patience as the attacker studies the habits of their victims, and they gather data about their victims' interest as well as their personal information.
Brian, can I just ask you to present in presenter mode? Because now it's on, I mean, in slideshow, it's on presenter mode. If you can just put it on slideshow so we can see.
All right, thanks.
Thanks.
Just gonna stop sharing.
Okay. Sorry about that, guys. I think while Brian Karabo is sharing, I just wanted to let everyone know that we are recording the session, And the session will be, the video will be available on our YouTube channel for your CPE points. Thank you.
Is Brian sharing, Kgabo?
Sorry, Karabo, we are waiting for your screen.
Okay,
Oh, okay.
let's give it a try again. Is it visible now?
Yes, please, thank you.
All right.
On the life cycle slide and then the praise.
All right, sorry about that. Let's just give it one more try. Is it showing on a presenter mode or?
Yes, it's now on presenter mode again.
All right, so let me just try something. So is it still on the correct slide, right? The life cycle. It's showing the full
Yes,
slide, I hope.
yeah. Yeah.
All right, so
But it's not
so
showing on, it's not showing on slideshow though. It's not on
all right.
slideshow. Yeah. There we
Is
go.
it now there?
Okay.
All
Yes.
right. So I'll just talk through the second phase, which is the hook phase. So or maybe let me just start off from the first phase, which is the investigate phase. In case I lost you somewhere. So in this phase, what typically happens is that the attacker investigates their target, they gather background information about their target. And so once they've studied their target, they can then initiate their attack. And in this phase, I mean, this phase is a very critical phase as it defines the success rate of the overall attack. Moving on to the second phase, which is hook. This is where the attacker engages with their victim, and they'll create a story to just keep them engaged. And in this way, they can control the interactions with their victim. Moving on to the third phase, which is the play phase. And then in this phase, what typically happens is that they strengthen their control over their victim. And this happens after a very long time of interacting with your victim. And they'll then eventually extract information from their victim and then initiate their attack. And the last phase, which is the exit phase, this is when they're closing their interactions without the target even being aware that they have been attacked. So this is how they cover their tracks. So just to move on to the second theme of the presentation. So in this theme, we'll cover the different types of social engineering. And what we'll cover is the various attacks, and starting off with phishing. So I'll just jump straight into the phishing attack. So phishing is the most common form of social engineering attack, and it's typically associated with email. So the victim may click on a false link and install malware on their device, or they can also enter personal information such as credit card information that the hacker can then steal or use to attack their victims. So I'll just take you through an example of phishing. So in this case, you'll receive an email request to update or confirm your details by clicking on a link, or an icon. Once you click on that link, a fake website may be launched. And on the website, you'll be asked to share your details, such as your banking accounts, details, your usernames, and your password for online banking. And after you've shared these details, the attacker can then use the information that you provided on the site to initiate their attacks. And so this is just a typical example of how phishing works. And so the fake website is actually a cloned website. So I think our penetration testing colleagues, or say cybersecurity colleagues who work with this type of technical stuff, they know how exactly this works. So the victim wouldn't even suspect that the website is fake. So just moving along to the next type of attack, which is phishing or voice phishing. This takes place over the phone. And you'll see that in the previous one, the platform where the attack takes place was on email. So for this voice phishing, I think it's self-explanatory that it will happen over the phone. So the fraudster represents themselves as a legitimate representative of a bank or another institution or organization. And then in order to trick their users into handing over the information. So this is typically a definition of how phishing is initiated. So just going on to an example of this attack, I'd like to sort of take you through to narrate a story of some sort. As you can see with the title, a company loses 1.2 million on a Friday afternoon. And in the story, what typically happens is a CFO of a company was in the office one Friday afternoon, and he received a call from someone who was pretending to be from the bank. And this particular caller was advising him that there are 15 suspicious transactions on the company's account, and these charges needed to be immediately canceled. So this unsuspecting CFO went about to assist this caller to clear these suspicious charges. And he generated codes from the bank's smart card or security system or token to assist the caller to remove the fraudulent charges. So while he was generating these codes in the background, the caller was actually transferring money from the company's account, with those codes, that he was receiving on the other end. And so the weekend passed by as this was happening on a Friday, and Monday morning, the CFO of a particular company gets back to work only to realize that they have been defrauded and 1.2 million was missing from their bank account. So this is just an example of how dangerous this form of phishing happens, and and the impact that it can have on an organization. So just moving on to the next type of a social attack. So the next one is spear phishing. So spear phishing is the act of sending emails to a specific or well-researched target while pretending to be a trusted sender. So what typically happens with this sort of attack, the fraudsters will look up information about their victims on social media platforms such as LinkedIn to see what profession they are in, which organization do they work for. And so they use these social platforms as a resource for gathering information. And then once they've gathered all this information, they can then initiate their attacks. So let's just go on to a typical example for this form of attack. So I've embedded an email as an example of how this works. So your attacker will typically send you an email. So if we're looking at this email, it says, "Hi, are you busy? I need you to process a wire transfer for me today. Let me know when you are free so that I can send you the beneficiary details." So what will typically happen with this type of an attack? The email would have been spoofed, so because these guys would have found out who you are reporting to and who are the senior people within your organization, and an unsuspecting user will take this email at face value and perform whatever instruction that they are getting from their company's superior. So just one thing to be on the lookout for, if ever you do find yourself in a situation where you get this sort of email. I think the terminology can throw the fraudsters off if you're looking at the way that the email is worded. I mean, in South Africa, we don't use the phrase wire transfer. We'll refer to it as a bank transfer. So that's just one of the things to be to be on the lookout for, as well as the email signature. Because for most of us, our email signatures are static. It will say regards, and then it will have the name of whoever that's sending the email, as well as the designation. But if ever that changes, and then you are now being instructed to process a transaction of this magnitude, I think it's something that you should be on the lookout for. So just moving on to the next form of an attack, which is the double barrel. So with this attack, the victim receives a chain of various messages or emails from the same malicious sender. And how this works, if I can take you back to the previous example or email that we saw. So when they are initiating the double barrel attack, what would typically happen? They'd send one separate email saying, "Hi, are you busy?" and wait for the victim to respond. Once the victim has responded, then they can then initiate their attack and start requesting them to perform any transaction or instruction that they would have that they will give. So with the double barrel, like as explained here, there's no malicious intent in the first email, but in the second email, then this is where you receive the instruction. So just moving on to an example of this double barrel attack. In this case, we have the fraudster posing as a IT or a security personnel that works within this company. And again, this might be a spoofed email. So how this would work is that these guys would now send the first email saying that they are in the process of tightening up their IT security controls, and they are updating the internet content filters. And as a result, a number of websites will be added onto their blocked list. So as you can see with this email, there's nothing very suspicious. It's just the email informing you of the processes that these guys are going through. And now here's the catch. If we're looking at the second email, this is where you'll notice how these guys can then initiate their attack. They'll say that they forgot to attach a document containing the list of websites. And what they will do is request you to provide them with a list of websites that you are using for work purposes. And typically, if someone receives this email and they're not aware of what's currently happening, they can then give this fraudster their information to say, this is the website that we are using within our company, and they can gather that information, using this form of social engineering. If maybe you're using a particular banking site, they'll go back and clone that bank site, that bank's website. And I think in the previous examples, we did highlight how this would work. Then they will capture all the banking details, and then they can even take this attack further once you've given them the name, the bank's site that you are using. They can even send you a link to say, here's the link, we are done with our change that we're implementing around the internet content filters. So can you please click on this link? Let's see if your website is working correctly. And you'll insert all your details, and we know how the story ends from there on. It's very interesting form of an attack. So now that we've looked at the different types of social engineering, I'd like for us to spend a bit of time looking at the history of social engineering, as well as what does the future of social engineering look like. So in the slide, I've included a quote from Nicholas Hellerman, who says that in order for us to combat social engineering, we need to strengthen human intelligence. Humans are at the center of phishing attacks. And as you can imagine, there's a stereotype that hackers is just a guy that's sitting in a room somewhere wearing a hoodie and looking at a screen that has ones and zeros. But I think it goes way beyond that. And you would have noticed in the examples that we went through, that there's human interaction in executing these attacks. So let's just have a look at the social engineering timeline. And as you can imagine, in the 1800s, the only way of communicating was either you're writing a letter to someone that you're trying to reach out to, or or you sending a messenger to deliver your particular message. So I'd like to narrate a story again about the Spanish prisoner. And this is one of the social engineering phenomenons that was happening in that era. So how this will work is that a wealthy person of high estate who has been imprisoned in Spain under false identity will be sitting somewhere in that prison. And what this prisoner will do is they will send a friend to sort of gather information, not information, but to raise money for their release. So this friend is actually the trickster or the fraudster. So this person will go around to people asking them to raise money to release this very important person and help them get out of jail. And there's a bait that is at play there, that if you assist this person, once they get free, they will give you a payout of some sort for assisting them to get out of jail. And this very same thing is still happening to this day. So I was having a conversation with one of my friends, and what he said is that he was going through his spam email, and what he saw is that he received an email from people who were claiming to be lawyers. And what these guys were saying is that he had a uncle that has passed on, and this uncle had left him fortunes in his will, and they were just busy winding up that deceased estate, and they just needed a couple of information from him. And part of the information that they needed was just to confirm a couple of things, and also money to process the application for winding up this deceased estate. And as you can imagine what's happening here, this just goes to show the baiting side of things, and what they'll do is they'll request money for them to be able to process the transaction, and there's no money that's going to come back to him. I think that's the theme of the story. So it just goes to show that this phenomenon has been around for quite a while. So just fast forwarding to the future. So now, from here on, we can see that artificial intelligence is being used by social engineers, and these guys are now equipping themselves with some futuristic tools, and these are AI tools in order to further exploit the human psychology and gain access to systems and data. So I'd like to take you through a couple of these tools that are being used, and these includes text-to-speech or voice transfer AI, as well as deep fakes or video synthesis. So just to start off with the text-to-speech or voice transfer. So there's a company called Lyrebird, and this company is in the business of creating some really cool applications, So what they have done is that they've said, we're using AI to clone our vegetables, our pets, and even livestock. So why not clone our voices? And they've built their corporate mission around that exact same question, as they have developed a software that works in such a way that you'll project you feed the software with an audio spoken by someone else, and then what the software will do in turn is replicate that person's voice. And from there on, they can use that person's voice to maybe give you a call and instruct you to do something, and you will think that it's actually the right person that you're talking to. Meanwhile, it's a different person. So I don't think me explaining this does justice to how this really works. So what I've done is I've embedded a video here, which I'll play. I think it will better give you context on how exactly this tool can be used to execute a social attack.
Hey guys, here's a short demo of our voice conversion technology. We'll be converting my voice to the voice of Barack Obama.
What we've said consistently is that there has to be a political settlement to bring about genuine peace in the region.
The system captures the idiosyncrasies of how I say something each time I say it. I can say the same thing many times. The same thing many times. The same thing many times. And each time the recording will be correspondingly different. This makes voice conversion suitable for applications where the result should have the personality and range of emotion of a real person.
So yeah, I think the video just gives a perfect example of how this AI tool can be used. So another tool that hackers are using is deepfakes or video synthesis. So how this works is that it's also a software that can create fake videos, and then these attackers can then use this as an impersonation attack. So they'll create a counterfeit video, and this is currently leaving a lot of politicians as well as the media very nervous, because you're not sure whether are you getting fake news or whatever it is that you're getting from the media is really the accurate information and it's coming from a legitimate source. So I think that's the danger around these tools. And I strongly believe that these tools were not created for the purpose that these hackers are currently using them for. So I've also have a video here that I'd like to show you guys exactly how this sort of attack works. And just bear with me because this video contains a bit of strong language, and it just goes to show that the damage that one can do using this technology. So here's the video, guys.
We're entering an era in which our enemies can make it look like anyone is saying anything at any point in time, even if they would never say those things. So, for instance, they could have me say things like, I don't know, Killmonger was right, or Ben Carson is in the sunken place, or, how about this, simply, President Trump is a total and complete dipshit. Now, you see, I would never say these things, at least not in a public address, but someone else would. Someone like Jordan Peele. This is a dangerous time. Moving forward, we need to be more vigilant with what we trust from the internet. That's a time when we need to rely on trusted news sources. It may sound basic, but how we move forward in the age of information is going to be the difference between whether we survive or whether we become some kind of fucked up dystopia. Thank you, and stay woke, bitches.
So yeah, that's also just a typical example of the amount of damage that can be done using these tools. So yeah, I'd like to also take you through a quote from Obama. So this is what Obama had to say about his presidential campaign. And this is actually from the real Obama, by the way. So he said that I know how it feels like to have privacy violated because it happened to me and the people around me. It's no secret that my presidential campaign harnessed the internet and technology to transform our politics. What isn't widely known is that during the general elections, hackers managed to penetrate our computer systems. Hackers gained access to emails and a range of campaign files, from policy position papers to travel plans. It was a powerful reminder. In this information age, one of our greatest strengths, in our case, our ability to communicate to a wide range of supporters through the internet, could also be one of our greatest vulnerabilities. End of the quote. So it's very fitting, and more especially after looking at that video, because I mean, these guys can cause some serious damage, and they can also mislead people into doing things that they wouldn't typically, that the real person wouldn't instruct them to do. So yeah, it's interesting what tools are out there and what damage that they can cause. So just to add a note on this, so there has been development in terms of detecting this sort of attacks. This is deep face attacks, that is, and the technology that can be used is some sort of a biometric technology that detects the real person's mannerisms and how they conduct themselves. So it will compare like what's on the video back to the real person's mannerisms and their facial expressions. And if the two don't match, it will then raise the exception to say, no, this is not a legitimate video and this is not the real person. So it's just something to keep in mind. So moving on to the next slide. So a company of social engineers did a competition to see between men and women who is the best social engineers. And so what they did is they got these different people, and these people were made up of experienced men in this scope of work, experienced men versus experienced women, as well as inexperienced men versus the inexperienced women. And most of the men applied the authority-based theme. And how this sort of attack was initiated is they will use their authority and say, hi, I'm the head of a particular company's head of department. We've just experienced a breach, and we need you to provide us with some information. We need this and this and this from you. And most of the victim fell for this. And the woman, on the other hand, used the sympathy and assistance theme. And how this worked is that, this lady will give you a call and say that they are working late and they really need to get home to their kids. Could you kindly assist them to complete a survey? This will only take 5 minutes of your time, and most people fell for this sort of attack. And so the ladies ended up winning this competition because it just goes back to that quote by Nicholas saying that, social engineering is at the center of humans. And if we don't educate people who are using these systems, they might fall for these attacks, And what some of these hackers, when they use this attack, they'll make you feel sorry for them, and you'll end up divulging your personal information. So just to move on and look at the statistics around social engineering attacks. So there was an article published saying that South Africa loses 2.2 billion to cyber attacks. And a new report also found that 88% of South African firms experienced phishing attacks in the past year. And impersonation attacks have increased by nearly 2/3. So that's just to give perspective around the numbers about these sort of attacks. And EY also performed a survey to check on how has COVID-19 impacted privacy and security. So they had a couple of respondents from all over the world partake in the survey, and the respondents cited increases across many categories of cyber threats, with phishing, malware, and ransomware leading the pack. As you can see in the slide, in the first bar diagram, you can see that we are phishing increased by 69%. And this 69% is made up of 31 people saying that it had 31% of the respondents saying that it had significantly increased, while 38% of the respondents said it somewhat increased, and then only 22 said that there was no change, and the remainder, which is 5 and 2, which makes up 7% of those respondents didn't experience anything out of the ordinary there. So there was no impact regarding social engineering and phishing in their organizations. So this brings me to the last theme of the presentation. I mean, we've looked at the definition of social engineering, the different types of social engineering, as well as examples around it, even the history of where it comes from and how it has evolved over time to where we are right now. So let's just have a look at the countermeasures that can be implemented to reduce the risk and impact of social engineering. Starting off with training of employees. I believe we need to train employees in terms of the security protocols relevant to their positions. And if we look back at the types of examples that were there, we could see that most of the employees did not have knowledge around how to detect these types of attacks and how they were happening. Having standard frameworks, this also helps to establish frameworks of trust on employee or personal level. So if you do have a personal relationship, from an HR perspective, with some of the more senior people within the organization, I think it makes it easier to tell them, but no, you can't call me and instruct me to process this payment. It needs to go through certain channels like delegation of authorities to approve this sort of transactions. And from the example of changing the websites or blocking content filters. From that example, I think typically one would expect a change management process to be underway there to facilitate the changes around the environment and not going directly to users and involving them in that magnitude. So another thing that came up was scrutinizing information, and you would have seen in some of the themes that I presented that we need to educate our users in terms of identifying which information is sensitive and also evaluating the exposure to social engineering and breakdown of these controls. And going forward to security protocols, establishing security protocols, policies and procedures for handling this information. So it's just to raise awareness and having those protocols in place to prevent such from happening. Event tests, performing unannounced periodic tests of the security framework. This also helps, as well as inoculation, preventing social engineering and other fraudulent tricks by instilling a resistance to persuasion attempts through exposure to similar or related attempts. So these are just typical examples of measures you can put into place. And I'm just going on to the next slide, looking at reviews. So reviewing the above steps regularly will also immensely assist in combating these social engineering attacks, as there's no solution to information integrity that is perfect. And last but not least, waste management, using a waste management service that has dumpsters with locks on them, and then having the keys being kept or limited to only the waste management company or cleaning staff. This also helps in terms of people getting a hold of your personal information. So with that being said, guys, yeah, I think we've covered majority of what's relevant regarding this topic. And thanks for listening in. And that's my time. Thanks, guys.
Okay, thanks very much, Karabo. I'm now going to just open the floor. There were one or two questions that came through. So I will just, Karabo, just keep your mic on so that we can address those. The first question came in from Darwin. Sorry, let me just make sure I get the name right. Darwin de Guzman. Is there a solution to detect authentication of a voice duplication?
Not that I know of, but with regards to the voice ones, I think I haven't come across any tool that is being used for that level of detection. But I'm sure that since they've now developed your biometric tools, to sort of match whatever specimen that these hackers are using to the real thing, I'm sure there would be something of that magnitude. But I think we can note that, and we'll just come back to you in terms of what other tools are there or are available in the market to detect such. But I strongly believe that since we have something for videos, there should be something for voices as well.
Okay, thanks, Brian. Sorry, Karabo, I keep on calling you Brian. The next question was from Ricardo Tau. How do you detect fake email communication between CFO and a CEO when payments are being made, as this is also a high risk in organizations?
Good question. It's a very good question. So what most companies would have is a email service provider. I think in South Africa, we're mainly familiar with Mimecast, and they give out reports, of suspected phishing emails. And what they'll do is they have techniques working in the background to detect such, and they can also prevent those emails from coming through into your mailbox, or they'll mostly flag them as spam emails, and then they'll keep them in your spam mails. So that's another way of detecting these. I hope I answered your question, Ricardo.
Thanks, Brian. I think we can all admit, I don't know about everyone, but I think we are all, targets of social engineering. I think maybe just in the chat, indicate if you have received either an email, those that claim that your great uncle died in somewhere in the UK and they want to send you lots of money. I remember in December I received a phone call from someone claiming from Vodacom wanting me to and claiming that someone is trying to upgrade my package, and I thought so. I think yesterday, it was quite funny. I just got an email from what looked like it was from PayPal saying my account is being suspended. But then I realized that the last L in PayPal looked like a capital I. And I'm like, okay, So I think sometimes if you look closely, you will see the hints. Like I think when Karabo showed the email, it said wire transfer, and we know in South Africa we don't use things like wire transfer. We say EFT. And I think those of you that are registered on that Treasury website to register your company on the database. I don't know about you, but on a daily basis, I get emails that have RFQs from government departments, and the telltale sign is usually the email address, because we know how the email addresses are, and you find that the email address has a funny thing. So I always say, if it looks funny, rather just confirm first before you open it. It's the best way to prevent, because once you open, then basically someone already has gathered your information. I see that, yeah, I think I can safely say 100% of us have been targets. Whether you become a victim or not is how you react to the information coming to you. So I think I see Savesh saying, however, our email applications are getting better at identifying scam. Yeah, I agree with that. I think most organizations have really improved on that. I think Karabo, I can agree when I say that it was a lovely presentation, and the sentiments are shared by what I see in the chat. Thank you very much. I don't know if there's any other questions. I'm not seeing if I've missed anyone. I did note two, but I don't know if I've missed any questions. And please, can you make sure that you fill in the evaluation forms? Remember, those help in us so that you can get your CPE points. So there's a form in the chat. Please click on that and complete it, so that also we just need some feedback, please. I must say I apologize. You know, it doesn't matter how much you rehearse. I can tell you we have gone through these presentations over and over again. There is just always that little thing that on the day catches you unaware. So I would like to thank you all for your patience as we're going through those glitches. As I had said, for those who missed it, this webinar is recorded, and therefore it will be available on our YouTube channel, which is right at the bottom of the screen there. So please, if you want to go and refer, or you just want to go through it again, feel free to do that. Avni will say, can we trust the link? Karabo had made us suspicious of everything. Okay, this one you can trust. And if anything happens, you can blame me, because I'm telling you to trust it. I can assure you it's not coming from a robot of some sort. It is coming from our ISACA SA office. Thank you so much. I think before we close, I just I saw only one entry for the competition, guys. Come on, you don't want a hamper. And some of you I know forgot to buy that gift, and somebody's not going to talk to you for the rest of the year. So please, we still have we are shy. Ricardo, you are not shy. You are not shy at all. Okay, let's see. Tandokazi has got something as well there. Okay. Okay. Don't be shy, guys. Come on. Come on. There's a nice hamper, and I would like to give that hamper away. So let's keep going. Let's keep going. And I think while we are waiting to finalize the winner, and Brian, please get ready to announce our winner. So we're gonna give you. Hey, hi. Guys, like lastminute.com, and I'm hoping that we have mostly auditors here. What happened to deadlines? Hey, what happened to deadlines? Okay, Candice, thank you. I see you, Candice. Okay, so whoever is announced, so since COVID, not many. I know we can blame it all on COVID. We can blame it all on COVID. Okay, so I cannot see the link for CPD forms. It's the link for the evaluation form. Kudzai, Eugene, maybe you can just post that link again. Okay, I think we are going to. Cornelius went for dinner. I like that. Okay, I think we are now going to close off for the competition, and I'm gonna wait for my office to please come back to us with who the winner is. So in the meantime, I think so we've got Mohammed. Okay, now they are coming fast. I can only forgive you because I hope that you are paying real attention to Karabo, and therefore you are not going to be a victim of social engineering. I could not buy anything as I believe she was, okay, I get old for Valentine's Day, so I applied for okay, smart cat ID, all right, okay, that's funny, okay. Okay, so your CPE confirmation emails will be sent via email. So be on the lookout for that. Okay, thank you for the presentation. I think we are going to. Oh, lovely, Riaz. I don't have a Valentine's Day story as I treat my wife with love and affection every day except Valentine's Day. Okay, that's great. Keep it up, Riaz. Okay, thank you for the presentation from Lerato and Kudzai. Thank you for the presentation, very insightful. It was definitely insightful to me as well. And so I think we can, I'm just gonna go through our announcements again. I will leave my colleagues to do the judging. While they do that, we are just going to reiterate what is coming since some of you might have joined us late. So as I mentioned, we are now back in the office, and I've kept that screen on so that you can note down various ways of getting in touch with us. So please take that down. We do have a new office number. So also Lizanne Human has joined us as our new office and finance manager. Some of you might have known Esther, who left us at the end of last year. And don't forget to renew your membership, please, and certification. It actually has been extended until end of March. You would have received your email, so please don't forget. Those of you who are interested in knowing more about Popia, we are having a workshop in March. You've received emails, so please sign up for that. And our annual virtual conference, we are looking for sponsors, corporate sponsors. So please, if you would like to sponsor the event, contact the office. And also, please don't forget, if you have not yet done so, to apply for your professional designations. I must say, the board worked many years to be able to get us to a point where we are SAQA, accredited, and we can issue this certification. So please, this designations, not certifications, designations. So please do apply. There is no cost to it right now, but that time will be coming to an end soon. So please do so. And then, okay, as I announced earlier, we are a member of the, we are part of the Cybersecurity Council to make sure that we keep our membership diversified. And I know I'm sure some of you would have applied for the CDIPC certification, which deals with data privacy. So please make sure that if you haven't, you check your website for the updates. So I think I'm gonna hand over now to Brian to announce, do we have our
Kgabo,
winner yet?
I'm here. I'm back.
Okay.
I'm back. Okay, cool. All right. Good day, colleagues. Once more, my name is Brian Makume. Kgabo has been referring to my name a lot. I don't know if Karabo is me or the other way around, but yeah, no, that's fine. Okay, so the competition is closed, Kgabo, right?
Yes.
And
yes.
we started seeing more responses, even though of course time was not on on their side in terms of other participants. But yeah, I think we've got our winner. So colleagues, I think that Kgabo had already indicated that we are running, in celebration of the month of love. We just decided to just bring in a gesture from our end, just to spark up everyone and ensure that we find balance, from always being serious with our presentation to also include just that other element. So thank you very much for everyone who took that time to join us. It's highly appreciated. You can see I've also dressed for the occasion. So it's the month of love. So let's embrace love. Let's share love with our families, our colleagues, our clients. Let's just spread love, colleagues. Okay, so to get down right to the business of the day. So the question posed to the floor was to for anyone to share their a moment, that they can recall and share with us. It can be extreme, it can be sweet, it can be, something to catch our breath. So we had a number of interesting stories. Some of us started taking notes here and there. So Sunday we might be having what do you call it? Maybe a repeat of some of these occasions. I've certainly taken some notes. However, we had to always, of course, come to our winner, which of course will take the ultimate prize. We will, of course, contact the winner tomorrow morning or throughout tomorrow and ensure that we courier their prize, and I'm sure all regulations will be observed throughout the process. So rest assured that we are law-abiding citizens. So with that being said, I saw Savesh has said something as well, Mamanyani as well, and colleagues. Our winner for our competition will be Eunice. Eunice, who had indicated that when things were still normal way back before COVID-19, I booked a Valentine's splash in a very remote private area and tranquil, natural, scenic place. So the details, the further details are there in the chat, but it was quite a comprehensive and very interesting setup that was going on. At some point, I thought Eunice is kidnapping their partner, but because it was all in the name of love, I believe it was for to come up with something very special. So Eunice, congrats to you and thanks to everyone for participating. And we hope to see more of this, impressive attendance in the near future as we bring up more surprises to our forums and meetings. Kgabo?
Okay.
From my end.
Yes, thank you very much, Brian. Thank you very much for all your entries. Kiabetsi, I see you. Okay. I just want to thank everyone for taking the time to join us. We really appreciate it. We really strive to make our webinars more interesting. Please be on the lookout for the upcoming webinars. We really want to make them fun. At the same time, make sure that you still collect your CPE points. And so we will not just be focusing on on the technical side, but we'll also be looking at the softer side because we are humans first before we are professionals. And if we don't look after the human element, then we won't be good professionals. So please be on the lookout. We will be bringing surprises with each and every one of our webinars. I once again would like to thank Karabo, Prudence, and Brian for their hard work, not forgetting Eugene, who's been working behind the scene to help us bring this to light. He's done a wonderful job. Thank you very much, Eugene. I also like to thank all our board members who have attended the webinar and for the support in the back office. Thank you so much, and we thank you all for attending this. We will always enjoy having everyone online, really. And thank you. And with that, we are coming to the end of our presentation. So, Ricardo, yes, we are looking, and please, we are looking for you as members to present. So please don't, if you would like to present at any of our webinars, be in touch. We are looking to you as our members to share your knowledge and brand yourself. This is part of your your professional growth. So take it as an opportunity. It's really not that hard, to be honest. So if you would like to be a speaker, please just contact us, and then we will make sure that we then put you in upcoming webinars. With that, please, I would like to wish you well. Please keep safe and wash your hands, wear your mask, sanitize. Just because the rules have been relaxed a bit doesn't mean that COVID is not with us anymore. It's still there. We would like to still have you with us next year and many more years to come. Thank you very much, everyone. With that, we are going to be closing this webinar. Thank you, and God bless.